So welcome to our session. Hope you are having a wonderful reInvent. By way of introductions, I'm Sean D'Souza, and I lead cloud transformation services globally at IBM Consulting. And we have a very action-packed agenda. I'm not the main show, though. The main show is the fireside chat between our client at Sixt, Andreas Klinger, who's the Senior Director for SRE Services, and my colleague, Bill Lobeck, who's the Vice President for IBM Automation. So before we get started, I wanted to just warm up a little bit. It's after lunch, and so I wanted to ask a few questions. How many of you are AWS customers? Okay, that's good. You're at the right forum. How many of you think that digital transformation is a top priority for our enterprises? Okay, very good. We agree on something. So clearly, digital transformation is a top priority for almost all of our clients. 88% of CEOs have prioritized transformation as the top priority agenda, either to survive or race ahead of their competitors. And they want to get there through 4 imperatives. The first is really around productivity. Why is productivity important? First of all, there's an explosion of technology, and our clients really want to maximize their investments in technology. They want to use the right technologies to drive business innovation. They want to avoid wastage, and they want to become extremely productive as an organization because that leads to direct profitability. The second is around tech modernization, which is the other bookend. If you have to embrace technology, you have to be nimble, but older technology comes in the way. And so tech modernization is a top tier priority. The third is around experience. And think about our iPhones, think about our social platforms for a second, think about that experience. Now reflect on the experiences most enterprises provide for their services and products. It's night and day. And so CEOs are trying to bridge that gap. And so customer experience is the third most important priority. And the fourth is cybersecurity. As our clients try to integrate new technology, they have to do so by safeguarding their assets, their people, their processes, and their data. So while digital transformation is a top priority, when we interviewed 500 clients and got a pulse around their success rates, the data was a bit staggering. I won't drain the slide here, but I want to share 2 data points. One is 1 out of 4 clients have positive ROI with their digital transformation. 1 out of 3 programs are on time and on budget, which is pretty staggering. Now we try to dig deeper. One thing we realized is that most of these programs were grounded in hybrid cloud. So that is good. But they were not intentional in their choices. They fell victims to hybrid by default, which is what happens when you pick technologies in silos and you end up with complexity, high costs, and complexity overall in terms of your operating model. Now that gets further exacerbated with increasing data volumes, and when clients are trying to adopt Gen AI and there's no skills out there, there's a massive amount of shortage. And so as a result, all of these factors have contributed to lower ROI on cloud programs. But at the same time, 1 in 4 enterprises were successful. So we wanted to understand what they were doing differently. And so this is what we found. There were 5 things they were focused on. First was product centricity, which is really shorthand for aligning all IT investments to business priorities. Second, they were making intentional choices in their technology decisions to drive up flexibility, to improve innovation, and again focus on business outcomes as a top priority. And third, they focus on consistency. So we talked about hybrid cloud being the norm. We talked about landing zones, different landing zones being the state of how clients go about their cloud journey. But driving consistency in terms of the experience for developers, for operations, regardless of these landing zones, is really paramount to success. And the fourth point, if you think about it, it's not only about technology. While a lot of these investments are in technology, unless you can drive true transformation across people and across the overall IT estate, across end-to-end processes, you're not going to be successful. So successful organizations were focusing on holistic target operating model transformation. And fifth, when they were embracing on their GenAI journey, they were training general purpose models with their proprietary data so that they could unlock new insights to give them competitive benefits. Using these 5 principles, we've coined a framework referred to as hybrid by design. So I talked a little bit about GenAI earlier. GenAI has become a core part of any boardroom discussion. It's a core part of digital transformation. Now, what does this really mean, right? So first of all, there's a symbiotic relationship between GenAI and hybrid cloud. So let me explain. So GenAI is greatly accelerated by hybrid cloud. So if you think about enterprise use cases, today we are doing a lot of pilots. As they shift to production, most of these use cases are going to leverage a hybrid cloud infrastructure. 80% of enterprises, in fact, have stated that as a preference because they want to run these solutions closer to business workflows. They want to run these solutions closer to data and closer to applications. The second is really around what are enterprise use cases. If you think about these use cases, they could be around customer service workflows, they could be about IT automation, and the list goes on. Now, if you think about the variety of use cases, you'll need a lot of models, different types of models. So GenAI is going to be multi-model. And as a result, where they run is going to be different based on the models you pick. And so really getting that right is super critical to managing your infrastructure costs effectively and to avoid huge amount of data movement across locations. In fact, there's a client of ours in Cyprus. They are a telco, and they were able to save about 50% in terms of infrastructure costs by leveraging Red Hat OpenShift as their hybrid cloud platform to consolidate all their AI workloads. And then how does GenAI accelerate hybrid cloud adoption? So yesterday you guys were at the keynote, right? There were lots of announcements around technologies in terms of how to do code generation, refactoring with Amazon Developer Queue, right? So if you leverage these technologies to accelerate migrations and modernization or to do rapid development, your journey to hybrid cloud becomes a lot more smoother. The second is around FinOps. So you can leverage FinOps solutions to get even better insights and have control over costs across the hybrid cloud estate when you deploy GenAI solutions. And the third is really around AIOps type of solutions, which Bill will talk about. But really, these solutions help you manage your hybrid cloud environment proactively. You can detect anomalies, you can detect incidents even before they happen, you can raise alerts, and you can take corrective actions. So going back to the framework for a second, so our framework has 60 components. I'm not going to go through all 60 of them. I'll be here till Sunday. But I want to talk about 3 core dimensions, the by design dimensions. The first is any successful program has to be product led by design. What this means is that we have to help enterprises shift away from siloed thinking and a mismatch or misalignment between business and IT priorities to converge on strategic initiatives and product centricity. The second is really around integration by design. And this is really the glue between human to machine and machine to machine interactions driven through holistic architectures for data integration, for application integration. that then drives performance, low latency, and cost savings. And the third is really about technology by design. And again, there's lots of components in here, ranging from security choices, ranging from controls that you have in place, data governance, platforms for development, operations, and for running GenAI models. Now, using this framework, we can help our clients recalibrate the digital transformation journey so that they can get back on track. Okay. Oops. There was some issues with the clicker, sorry about that. So by using this framework, we are seeing 3.3x improvement in ROI compared to other models. Now, we're not stopping there. We've been partnering with AWS and with our colleagues in IBM Tech to create solutions that map to this framework that drive further exploration in benefits. Now, instead of hearing about these solutions from me, I want to invite on stage Bill Lobig, who is the Vice President for IT Automation, to take you through some of the exciting innovation. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean.
The clicker is a bit sensitive.
Okay, thank you. Hello, everyone. So my name is Bill Lobig, and I'm responsible for product management for our automation portfolio. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what we mean by automation and how we see it as a core value driver for innovation and growth in your business. So I don't have to tell you all here at re:Invent that technology is rapidly advancing. We've gone quickly from monolithic architectures to N-tier client server. And in today's modern hybrid cloud environment, these technologies are extremely ephemeral, short-lived. They're coming and going, containers are spawning. And all of this innovation drives complexity as well as it does growth and opportunity for your business. And complexity puts pressure on achieving your business goals. Let's consider hybrid cloud. Sean talked about hybrid cloud, the benefits of it, the realities of it. Cloud was easy until it wasn't. 10, maybe 15 years ago, I would talk to a lot of CIOs, CTOs, folks like yourselves, and they would tell me, I'm rewriting everything cloud native on Amazon. Now they talk about how difficult that is to harvest the centuries, not exaggerating in many cases, of intellectual property and human knowledge that's gone into their existing estate. This is why hybrid cloud is such a strategic area, and it's why IBM has made a big bet on this. This is the first of our strategic platforms founded in the Red Hat acquisition. Next is data and AI. Everyone sees the value in AI. In fact, I made a bet a long time ago how many days it would be before I didn't see another blog article in my inbox about LLMs. It has been like 3 years and I'm still seeing those. Yet, good AI needs good data. And data's everywhere. It's fragmented. It's distributed. You can't move it for obvious reasons. It's difficult. There's persistence. There's security. There's other considerations. This is why a solid AI strategy needs a solid data strategy. Or as I sometimes say, AI needs IA, information architecture. And this is IBM's second strategic platform, which is watsonx. That brings us to automation. If all of these technologies, the applications, the LLMs you're infusing, the infrastructure services they depend on, the PaaS and cloud services that you're using are managed manually, it's unwieldy to control, and you're going to have error-prone systems. And most importantly, your most precious resource, your human capital, your people, will be less effective than they could otherwise be. And this is what the real opportunity for automation is. So let's talk a little bit about the kinds of problems we're trying to solve. 82% of C-suites say they see technology as a competitive differentiator. In fact, I'd argue that everyone in this room uses technology as a competitive differentiator in their company. Therefore, you are a technology company. And if you're not, you should be, because that's your advantage. Yet, it's slowing me down. I need it, I'm doing it, I'm spending tons of money on it, it's getting in my way. How do we fix that? How many folks in here, by raise of hand, have the level of clarity they need and desire into where their technology spend is going and the value they're receiving from it? No hands. It's maybe a bad question because I can't tell if you're paying attention or not, but I was pretty sure I'd get that response, right? It's like the negative reinforcement. Over $5 trillion will be spent on IT this year. $5 trillion. And roughly half of the leaders of those budgets, they don't have a line of sight into the ROI they're getting from this. LLMs are great. They have huge potential. Do we believe that the business value that can be gleaned from all of these trillions of dollars that are being spent and the valuations of these companies is clear? The answer, unfortunately, is no. This is where automation can also help. And the last problem that we're trying to solve for is just the sheer enormity of the level of application load and technical complexity built on those hybrid architectures that you and your organizations are going to need to manage. An interesting thing is 1 year ago, or I should say 2 years ago, this statistic is from Gartner. They forecasted 600 million new applications by the end of the decade. Now it's up to 1 billion, and it's directly attributable to large language models and generative AI, because they not only help accelerate application development through code generation and other techniques, but they introduce a whole new class of application. What even is an application? Is a chatbot an application? So there's an enormous opportunity here. And that is why we feel technology automation for your IT operations is a critical component of your strategy. In fact, I like to think of AI as the spark for automation, or automation being the applied AI use case. If you think about productivity over time, going back way before technology. In fact, there's a statistic from the United Nations who did some studies on this, that human productivity has grown 14 times the rate of population in the last 2,000 years. And if you look at the major force multipliers of that, it's always been some form of technology. The printing press, combustion engine, drives transportation, moves people, brings them together, generates new ideas and thought. The internet, textiles, all of these things. And I assert that automation for technology operations is the new force multiplier and spark for automation. So what we're doing at IBM is we've thought through holistically all of the attributes and capability sets we feel you need for a resilient, automated IT operations management platform. We've thought about observability, AI ops, network performance, as well as cost and value management with technologies like FinOps, and most importantly, leveraging generative AI to drive deep insights out of that. And this is the portfolio and the suite that we've assembled. And we've got watsonx at the core that is unifying and breaking down data silos across all of these tools. I like analogies if you haven't seen by now. And one of the ways I like to think about all of this is applications have a supply chain. Every piece of technology, database, app server, web tier, serverless, this, that, and the other, these are all links in that application supply chain. And just like a real supply chain, you need the right information, the right resources in the right place at the right time. No more, no less. Yet that drives fragmentation in tools. There's many tools that go into supporting applications that are all built for purpose for the subject matter experts that use them to support their piece of that chain. That leads to gaps, blind spots, and lack of understanding about the overall performance, resilience, and risk posture of your applications. And this is where watsonx comes in to bridge those silos and apply generative AI. Let me walk through each of these areas that we think is critically important. It starts with observability, or AI ops. It's pretty simple. You can't manage, you can't improve what you can't see. And we have a technology in IBM we call Instana. It's an observability tool. Admittedly, it's lesser known than some of the big names you see out there on the expo floor. But those products, those companies were invented and built before reInvent even began as a conference. They predate the cloud native age. They predate Kubernetes serverless architectures. And in that world where things are slower moving, the rate and pace of change is slower, it's much different when you have a container-based architecture where on average 72% of your containers are living less than a few minutes. And this is where we've put together a modern, very new in the grand scheme of things, 6 to 7 year old technology in Instana that is world-class at cloud native management. The next is around resource management. I talked about this supply chain analogy. Put simply, you need the right resources in the right place at the right time. And like a real world supply chain, excess is cost. Warehouses are full, you're paying to store things. Shortages means you have empty shelves, and in the case of technology, you have performance and outages. And universally, by default, almost every IT or technical leader, and I would love to have a conversation later if you don't fit in this category, will err on the side of caution and conservatism and spend more than they need on resources and capacity to ensure optimal performance. Because it's easier to spend a little more, press the luck on your budget, than it is to have a down system for the business that you support. And IBM's technology landscape is as complex as any of yours. We have over 4,000 applications, hundreds of thousands of employees, and we use this technology internally. We have thousands of customers, but I love this case study. We are automating an infrastructure optimization that guarantees performance and drives your costs as low as possible every minute of every day, 24/7. And back to the objective of what we're trying to do here, which is codify your operations, which eliminates human-based ClickOps and errors, and make your people more efficient. If you ask the IBM CIO who runs this stuff, how much human labor savings have you realized? They say, I have no idea, because there were no humans automating and updating and optimizing something every minute of every day. The next is network. It's probably one of the lesser known things that IBM does. In fact, I'd venture to say majority of you have never heard of NS1. But I'd also say that at least a third of you have used it today without realizing it. It runs a third of the world's internet traffic. And so we've invested heavily in modern software-defined networking technologies that make it easy to transcend your hybrid cloud architectures and deliver those AI applications based on Amazon and more. And we've got a great set of customers such as Devro Health and others that are using these to intercept and deflect business impacting incidents before they even occur. So I would refer to that general set of things at the top there as ensuring the health and performance of your IT investments. But how do you know you're getting maximum value from and transparency into where your IT spend is going? And that's where FinOps and technology business management come into play. Probably don't need to explain a lot about what FinOps is. Most folks, I think, have heard about it. Amazon is a big supporter of the Focus standard, which is a standardization around billing. FinOps is not just a technology set, it's a way of working and a culture. And much like DevOps was a play on word to break down barriers between development and operations, we still have development and operations, but there's a new way of working that's more autonomic, more efficient. You build it, you run it, you're more responsible. The same is true here. This is a way of working and a set of tools to bring together finance people and engineering and operation people. Finance cares about the spend and the budgets. Engineering and operations people, particularly in the cloud, are increasingly empowered and can drive and influence spend in a tremendous way. So how do we get them speaking the same language and collaborating? This is where we've invested heavily with Cloudability in our FinOps portfolio. So coming to TBM, Technology Business Management, again with my analogies, if you think of FinOps as a cloud-focused area because of the rate and pace and change, that'd be like your telephoto lens, your zoom lens. Technology Business Management will be your wide-angle lens. It considers all costs across your entire estate. Capitalized, on-prem, SaaS license, software license, human labor, and all the other things that go into that $5 trillion of annual IT spend. And that's our Apptio product, which is driving tremendous benefit for thousands of customers, CoBank, National Rural Electric Cooperation, and a few others. And lastly, and I kind of talked about this in the earlier slide, The real opportunity in the IT operations space, in my opinion, beyond summarization of incident remediation, beyond automatically recommending resolution, beyond generating playbooks or scripts to solve things, all of which we're doing very differentiated, is how do I, as a senior leader, as an IT director, a CIO, how do I know what my risk posture is? How do I know how resilient my organization is? Leveraging IBM Concert to break down the data silos of all these individual tools that are fit for purpose in their respective domains to gain insights out that can shine light into those dark shadows is a major focus area for where we're going forward. So I want to take you through a few quick highlights of announcements we've made recently and or here at this conference. Most notably is we've made SageMaker and Bedrock a first-class capability of our observability platform and strategy. So with this, you can get full-stack observability into your LLMs and your applications that are embedding those. So token consumption, cost considerations, performance, latency, inferencing time, and stay very proactive and predictive across those, and just bringing this as another type of instrumentation that you need to ensure healthy ongoing business operations. Also, business resilience. So I talked about breaking down those data silos and applying LLMs to get new layer of insights. We're delivering what we call this notion of a lens. Think of it as a view, an optic, a perspective on your data that gives you those insights I've alluded to, with a heavy focus on resilience. Now, I had a customer ask me, well, how is your product going to solve my resilience? The answer is it can't. There's so many things involved in what goes into a highly available business continuity, disaster recovery, performance latency. There's human elements, there's people, there's process. But from a technology perspective, what we can do is scan your environment, tell you what good looks like, what are the best practices, where do you have gaps, where do you have deltas from great, and then help you bridge those and build a more resilient IT operations infrastructure going forward. The next is around dynamic resource optimization. So we've got a lot of great technologies in IBM. One of the things I think we haven't been traditionally really good at is leveraging them, connecting them in a way that unlocks new value for you and your clients. We're very focused on doing this, hence the third platform being automation. And there's many examples. This is one that I think is uniquely differentiating, which is adding our world-class, performance-aware, cost-optimized, automatic resource optimization capabilities in Turbonomic into APM. So now, instead of just determining there's a performance issue, you can dynamically automate your infrastructure, your workload placement, to ensure that those performance issues are remediated before they become business impacting, so you can resolve them. And that brings me to cloud elasticity and Turbonomic in general. If you haven't heard of Turbonomic, it's two things. It's very cool. It's an AI-powered decision engine that will always ensure optimal performance at the lowest possible cost. And it does this for all PaaS and IaaS services across all major hyperscalers, including popular platform services like Databricks, native databases in the CSPs like Aurora DB, and will ensure you're not overspending and give you that performance guarantee. And that blends into our focus on FinOps. IBM has invested heavily in Apptio, the market leader in FinOps. Gartner and Forrester regard us extremely highly. You can go read about that. And we've tripled down on this commitment with a recent acquisition of a company named KubeCost. If you haven't heard of it, but you're an EKS user, you've probably already used it or seen it and not realized. So KubeCost is a strategic partner of Amazon. Amazon EKS leverages KubeCost, embeds it, makes it a cost allocation and optimization service for EKS. It goes deep into providing chargeback, showback allocation to line of business and helping that finance and operations bridge be built. And we're integrating this into our FinOps suite and family of products to provide a world-class set of capabilities. And not only there's a lot of vendors out there who will claim FinOps. They do allocation, they show you how the money is mapping, but I guarantee you no other vendor is going to give you an autonomic solution to implement the recommendations and the optimization changes so that they're occurring continuously as the workload in your environment ebbs and flows to deal with peaks and valleys and spikes in your demand. So that's a quick overview of our strategy, where we're going, some of the key innovations that we think you'll be interested in and benefit from. And with that, I'd love to introduce Andreas Klinger to the stage, who's going to tell us a little bit about his successes with these technologies at Sixt, and then we'll have a few questions and chat after. Thanks, Andreas.
Thank you. Was it working?
Yes.
This one, okay. Yeah, hello everyone. I would like to talk with you today about our journey with Instana. Whoa, I never saw me that big. Yeah, Andreas Klinger is my name. Senior Director Cloud Engineering and working for 5 years in Sixt. And you see my great AI picture, I love cars. Let's move on to our today's agenda. One is about, I would like to give you some more insights about the Sixt footprint worldwide. Then let's talk a bit more about our platform organization and how we build focus areas. And then in the next step, let's talk a little bit about our Sixt Cloud landscape, followed by our journey with Instana. Our Sixt footprint worldwide. With more than 2,000 locations in more than 110 countries, and with more than 300,000 vehicles in our fleet, Sixt is a global player and provides mobility services or premium mobility services to our customers. With our premium products, Sixt Rent, Sixt Ride, Sixt Share, but also Sixt Plus, we have a wide offering of services for our customers. More than 8,500 employees are making sure that we are providing a great digital experience every day, and that yields into revenue of 306 billion in 2023. Let's talk a little bit about our platform organization. What is the vision, right? So our vision is that we are providing service in the shape of fully managed solutions and self-service capabilities. And to achieve this, we differed our organization in, let me say, focus areas. And one focus area is all about our security, landing zone management, cloud blueprints, but also runtime. So it means all what is running in AWS is in that area. And we are providing the service to our developers because we would like to make sure that they can focus on the challenges without thinking about the infrastructure and what is running underneath. Another area is developer experience. We need to know what is exactly what our developers need. And this is very crucial to understand that, to become better every day. And what we are providing as a service in our developer experience area is we are calling a tech delivery platform, right? And this is a platform to enable our engineers to build, deploy, and run their applications using that best-in-class tooling. Another point, we talked about it already a couple of times, is observability. We are providing observability as a service. And I think this is really important to understand that observability is a completely integrated into all our systems what we have. And this starts with logging, metrics, tracing, with everything that you can imagine. And of course, the idea here is that we are providing a service to our developers, that they get the right insights about the microservice performance so that they can operate them efficiently. Another really, really important point or area is our managed platform services and managed data pipelines. So what we are doing is we are providing libraries to our developers that they can directly integrate into their services, that they remove the day-to-day complexities of the microservice environment. So it means we want to make sure that our developers can focus on building great products without this heavy lifting of thinking about how to operate their microservices. And this includes observability as well again, but it includes service identity, that includes how the events are managed, etc. The last point is, I think you hear it on the reInvent as well, is all about cloud and platform security. So what this area is doing, we are delivering the security guidelines, the guardrails, the best practices for our enabling teams, but also for our developers, that they are able to focus again on building great products, but on the other hand, that we have standards. Because at the end, running your workloads in the cloud is all about efficiency, it's all about security, of course, to protect your workloads, but ultimately the data of your customers. Our Sixt cloud landscape. So we have around 2,000 microservices running in 6,500 containers. And every month we have around 9,000 deployments. And again, I'm repeating it, observability is a crucial factor. We are using Instana to enable faster detection and recovery. And another thing, what is really, really important for me to mention is automating. Automating everything, having self-service capabilities for faster time to the market. So it means one of our really, really important mission is to automate everything and make sure that we are reducing heavy lifting for our engineers. Our journey with Instana. This is how our network landscape looks like. And this is maybe already an indicator how complex our systems are. But let's move on about our journey. The cloud journey with the Sixt cloud journey started already in 2015. And then after 2 years of evolving, of course, it made totally sense to think about an observability platform, an observability tool. And the decision was made, we're going with Instana. And the journey starts already in January 2017. And this logo, this is a really old one, I found in one of our contracts. And they really said, I need that. Of course, this logo changed now a lot, but it is pretty interesting to see how that logo looked like in 2017. What we have our microservices platform and we have our classic platform. And directly 3 months later, we introduced Instana into our microservices platform, followed a good year later to our classic platform. And then already in November 2019, we moved over, we rolled out Instana onto our payments platform. This platform is completely PCI DSS compliant, and again followed by our telematics platform. And the last great project what we did was our complete migration from the on-prem data center into the cloud. Here, of course, and we talk about this in our questions, right? Instana really helped us to achieve that goal. And you see that it's an 8 years journey, what is really great. And that is a great partnership with Instana, and thank you very much.
So I would invite you back up, but I'm not down. I'm down here.
Where I should sit?
You can sit there, that's fine. Thanks, Andreas. That was a great story. Great success. Appreciate you spending the time and traveling all this way from München and making the time for us. You've been a great customer. I have a couple questions for you. So you talked about great successes, but this is technology. I think it would be disingenuous if I didn't say that the stuff is hard sometimes. People have challenges, technology is complicated. So what are some of the challenges you faced along the way, and how'd you overcome those?
Well, the one thing is complexity, right? What we faced is that we have 9,000 deployments, and with 9,000 deployments, you need a good observability platform to make sure that if something happens, if a service after deploying on production is misbehaving, that you're detecting it right away, that you can recover it. Of course, that is not only observability, good testing and everything is mandatory as well to avoid this. But we have so many deployments and so many changes every month, so that this is a challenge to make sure that we are delivering the best in class quality for our customers. Another challenge, as I mentioned, is we have our microservices platform and we have our classic platform. Our classic platform is now in the cloud, fair, but it is still a monolithic architecture. And we have services in our microservices platform who are depending on each other. And then you have services that are depending on our classic platform as well. And that brings a lot of complexity. Of course, we are on the journey to move out more and more features, so to speak, from the classic platform into the microservices platform, that's for sure. However, the complexity is still there because of our classic platform is still very, very important. And this is, of course, challenging to make sure that, hey, if you're investigating that the service is not working as expected, with tracing capabilities, with really correlating and understanding the service down to the infrastructure, what Instana provides to us, this is indeed a really really big challenge, but we are very good in challenges.
This is why you need a modern tool for modern architectures.
Yeah, we need a modern tool. and last thing maybe I would like to highlight is our cloud migration. It was a really big project to migrate everything into the cloud. And here, of course, Instana helped us as well on our non-prod environment to understand what was the performance now on our cloud environment, versus the performance we had in the data center. Just to get a better understanding of that, right? And ultimately to understand which hardware we need, right? Of course, consolidation of hardware and something like this came then later, right? But it was really important to see what are the optimizations that needs to be done. And with that said, we migrated from the on-prem into the data center in 16 months. What was a really great achievement of the engineering teams, and that's the reason why I'm proud to sit here, because of this was really an amazing project in March 2020.
And Instana played a key role in that. Yeah.
And Instana really supported us and played a key role. I think we're talking about the black hole.
Yeah,
later,
I was going to ask you. You told me about the black hole incident. And I was like, oh, once you go in, you never escape those. Can you tell us a bit more about what that was? And
what happened, right?
You got out?
Yeah, what happened? In March 2023, it was the weekend on the 10th of March, we migrated, or we finalized the migration, because the migration is not just putting a button, right? It's way more. But we finished the migration from the infrastructure, from the on-prem into the cloud. And what we figured out is that we started our system to the cloud, right? And we figured out that somehow we have some systemic performance issues.
Yes.
We had no idea why, but we saw that something is not working. Okay. Then, of course, what we did, we thought first that it could be something with a load balancer. And what we did, we opened directly a support case to AWS. In 15 minutes, we were in the escalator or in a call. And then we figured out, no, it's not a load balancer. It's all is good. And then we used Instana heavily to evaluate, okay, down from the PHP service, what is not working, down to the infrastructure. And then we really wrote down the EC2 instance on the paper. And then we came to the conclusion, oh, this is just one availability zone. What is impacted? Okay. And then we checked out the configurations and everything. We just compared it. And then we saw that this is a routing table issue what we faced, right? And this was the reason why the traffic, what was moved into this availability zone, went into Nevada, so to speak, right? So, and this is what we're calling now lovely black hole, because of a black hole is, nothing can go out of the black hole. And that was here the same. Yeah. So, but we fixed it then ultimately. That was really great. We migrated in time. And that was, again, a really great achievement, what I'm really proud of. And that was with Instana as a good partnership, but also with our engineering teams in Sixt. That was really amazing that worked. And we provided value to our company and customers.
So maybe that's a great segue with the black hole analogy. Look, observability is a very busy space. There's a lot of vendors, right? We don't need to be shy about that. You go out to the floor, you see many of them. What were some of the key standout capabilities of Instana and the solution from IBM that you felt made a difference? The
one thing what we really made a great use out of is how I can describe it. Let me say the out-of-the-box functionality of the Instana client. You're just deploying it, right? You can run it as a Docker daemon, whatever you want, you can just deploy it. And it's gathering metrics.
Yeah.
Pretty simple. The other standard what I see is really important is that you can correlate directly from the service that you're running down to the infrastructure, right? So it means you're looking, your service has some issues, and you can directly go down without changing the tool or anything. You're just directly going down into the infrastructure, and then you can check, okay, is something not working over here? That really saves a lot of time in remediating the incident. The The third aspect I would say is the end-to-end tracing. I think this is something what really helped us a lot in the past. That is really amazing. You can just go over there. For example, you see that, okay, it looks like we have an issue on that service. You're drilling down, you see, okay, this SQL has issues, right? And then you can directly start to continue your investigation. You can contact the right teams, etc., right? To make sure that you're remediating. So I think all about this is efficiency. All about this is remediating an incident in time, right? To making sure that we have, if possible, no customer impact. That's not happening all the time, we know that. But our goal, of course, is that we have no noticeable impact to our customers when we have, let me say, some service misbehavior.
Yes, it's inevitable. We want to be as predictive and proactive as possible, but inevitably challenges will occur.
That's true.
So you saw my overall platform strategy, what we're doing beyond just observability. Do you have any plans to expand into the other areas and consider some other synergies as we bring these together?
Let's say we don't know the future yet, right? But we introduced, for example, the cube cost. Because for us, it's really important that we are providing, talking about service. Everything what we are doing is a product and a service.
Yes.
What we want to do is we would like to provide to our engineers the opportunity that they can see, that they can understand what are the costs of their service. And at the end, that helps our business people as well. So it means if we want to have a new feature, right, this is a valid indicator to say, okay, if you want to have this feature, it will cost you this amount of money per month.
Yes.
Of course, cube cost is not covering everything, right? We have other shared services that we need to take into consideration. But I think it is a really good starter, right? What makes totally sense. And another thing is, right, it will be then now integrated into Instana, what is great as well. Another thing for the future is, of course, that the announcement of a private link, right? For Instana, this is something what is really, really helpful. Number one, it counts in as an internal traffic. That is awesome, right? That is for security, that is really great. Number two is it saves cost.
Yes.
So it means this would be something in the future we really would like to see. We had already some reviews and footprints with UpToYou, for example. So it means what we are doing, and this is something what I want to highlight, it is a kind of a partnership. So it means we are getting the information from our technical account manager, we're talking about this, and then we can directly see, is it beneficial for us? Will that help us in the future, right? And this is really about this collaboration, about this partnership, what we really like. And maybe when you calculate this, right, we are with Instana since 2017, right? And now we have 2024. Means these are 8 years.
Yes.
And 8 years is a statement.
It is. It's a great statement. Thank you so much. You know, on your point about cube costs, I talked about FinOps and our commitment and our dedication to it and how we're assimilating all these amazing technologies. I didn't talk about Instana in that context, but I think there's tremendous opportunity here as operations people who are driving the provisioning, the spend, and influencing that, even if indirectly, empowering them to get cost and allocation information in the tools they're already comfortable and familiar with is very, very important. And my vision, and hopefully we realize it, and while I'm alive, I think we will, is to make every IT person and IT leader seen as a hero and responsible steward of the budgets that their line of business constituents bestow upon them, and not seen as a cost center, which is kind of how IT, I think, is generally seen. It's like a necessary evil. And I think cube costs and Instana, we've got a great recipe for success there. So Andreas, you've been an amazing partner, an amazing customer. You've helped us make the product better. We love that. Driving it, hardening it. And maybe a few parting words. Do you have any recommendations for your peers, your other companies out there like yourselves, on what they should think about and consider as they want to achieve the same successes as yourself?
That was, for me, to be honest with you, the toughest question.
Okay.
Because of, I can talk, number one, relax. Number two is I can talk about this for 20 minutes, but that is not helpful. But when I'm looking for some keywords, one keyword is see what you're providing as a service. For example, you have a platform area, see the services that you're providing really as a product. It's number one, what is really, really important. And number two is keep the eyes open for innovation, right? Automate everything, leverage self-service capabilities, right? Reduce the heavy lifting. So I think this is something what is really great and makes me and my platform engineers that I have a lot of fun, just to explore things. Keep the eyes open and see how's the market developing.
Yes.
Right? And this is something what is great. And last but not least, that would be my advice, measure everything.
Yes.
Try to measure efficiency. Try to measure deployments. Try to measure builds. Try to measure everything, because of just this data, you can make great data-driven decisions. Otherwise, it's going wrong. Yeah? So this complete idea of let's measure everything, right? Have good objectives with the people you have. That's, I think, the key asset. What, in my perspective, makes 100% sense to be successful.
All right. Well, thanks, Andreas. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a good rest of the conference. And just in closing, briefly, so hopefully you got a good idea of what the kinds of business outcomes we can drive here with great customers like Andreas and Sixt. So just imagine your organization. He used the word, keep your eyes open for innovation. You know, as the saying goes, if you're not getting ahead, you're falling behind in this technology world that we all live in. And that's our objective. That's the takeaway from this entire exercise, is how do you leverage technology to make your people more effective, offset their labor, and allow them to focus on innovating, not toil. We encourage you to check out our booth, number 1642 in the expo, and you can learn more information about case study and some of these client examples at that barcode there. Thanks, everyone. Have a great rest of your conference.